In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate knowing how much water you have in your brush, on your paper when you apply, and how much water actually you are mixing on your plate. This is what a very important aspect of watercolor painting, and I see confusion around that, especially for the beginner community. So I thought this tutorial will bring a lot of visibility how you can manage controlling your watercolor. So before jumping into this, I would request you to check my Patreon art community. You can join there. You will have an amazing time with watercolor, and I'm sure your journey with watercolor will be really fruitful in my watercolor art community. People are learning, and there's a lot of activities happening in my forum. So check that out. The link I've given in the description, and I'm sure you'll have fun there. So in this section, I will be talking about what are the problem areas, and in this section, how to fix that, right? So now imagine you are painting this particular subject where you have one box and there are some paper roll is kept it here, right? So when we paint, now you see like how much water I am just using it. Just imagine, and that's the problem area I'm talking about. When you take a color, let's say example, I've just taken burnt sienna. Okay, now I've just taken this color, and now what happens is most of the time, especially beginners, they take a lot of water, and they apply here. Let's imagine that you have applied the color here. Now again you are going back, you are just adding a little more color here, little more water here, and see the volume of water in my brush is absolutely too much, and I'm using water. Any point of time, if you feel if you feel like okay, I want to add a little more color here into this, you take this color and add a little more color here in this area. Let's take an example. This is the lighter part of this, and this the darker side. The light is coming from this angle, right? So, or vice versa, right? You And then what happens is when you just do something like this, you again take a water and you take a color again, probably you mix it. I'm just pretending to be in a, a beginner who's doing such kind of a mistake, and I'll just take a little more color and a little more water, and I'll put it here like this. I'll take a more color here and put it like this. Okay, and now paper part, we will just paint here in this section. Like this, and you are actually taking a lot more water, basically lot more water. Okay, so just imagine that this is how basically you have applied the color here, and a little more color here on down. You have taken a lot of water, so every time you are actually you are applying these color here. Okay, so this is what it is. Now since this is still your the painting is wet, you again take a color and pour some water in it. Now see the volume of water basically we are taking, and let's assume that you just applied it here, okay, like this. This is how basically I see a lot of people are doing it, okay. And for paper part, I begin taken a lot of water here, and this is your first layer, right? So you have again just taken it here and pour water here like this, okay, maybe something like this. So now you see like there's a lot of water, and that's fine. I mean, you are doing it first layer, so even a first layer you are applying a lot of water. That's fine, but we will see the problem when we'll do our second layer. Now let's jump into this our solutioning part of it. Now when I'm just trying to make this side of artwork, let's say I want to use the same color here, obviously you need a little more water in your first layer. So I've just taken here, I've taken a color. There is still a lot of water, but what I'll do is when I'll apply this, I'll just mop a little water here, and I will just make a color here. I'll just apply it here, okay. Now I've just want to have a different color pigment here. Now imagine ultramarine blue. I'll just mix it here a little, okay. There's no much water, and I'll just apply it here, because I wanted to have some variation into it. Okay, and I just wanted to have a little more darker pigment. So that's the this side, and now I've just taken this ultramarine, yellow ochre, and I just applied it here in this area. And I've also taken the yellow ochre and just applied it here. Okay, now see, I my color is basically it's very controlled one. Okay, it's very controlled because I have not used so much of water. I just see I get all these edges wherever I needed. Okay, and now I'm just adding a little more color here in this area because I wanted to have a little more darker pigment. So I've just used it here, and now I don't have a much water in my brush, and I wanted to have a little brownish feel here in this section. Okay, so now I see water is not blending here like how we see here everything is blending, every all of that, so that is not happening, and I just made it here a darker pigment. Now we also want to have a surface, so now I've just used it here, and I've taken a very lighter pigment, and water I'm just taking it a very lighter pigment. I've taken a little amount of water in my brush, and just mixed it all together here. Okay, Now let's go to the upper section. Now see how much water I've just mixed it here. I need a little more water, so I've just taken a slightly more water into this. How we had done here exactly the same thing here as well. And if you have a little less water in your brush, you'll always find things are into control. I mean, things will be controlled. Okay. Now again, I have taken some water and wanted to have. I've taken a lot of plain water here and just mixed it here all the way. A lighter pigment here in this area. And this side I wanted to have a little darker, so I've just mixed it, the color, and I just poured it here and mixed, and I've just mixed it here. Okay. So now see the difference. Okay, so we still need to work on the paper, so I'll just take a color here and I'll make it a very lighter, though there is a water, there is a good amount of water, so I'll just mop it here a little bit of water, and I just wanted to have a texture here like this, and that's all. We just have a very little. If I'll take at this moment, if I'll take a lot of water in my brush and I'll put it here because I wanted to have some like this, the little darker, it should reflect its folds. So if I'll make a lot of water, then everything will get merged, right? So that I don't want. So now you see the difference between this. So this is so important. You see here, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, this is the first layer. Even if you have just made this kind of a mistake, it's fine. But technically, it shouldn't be in this way. You see the water is spreading all over the place. Mixing, the color is actually coming down and blending all together here. Um, if you wanted to do it intentionally, that's fine. You can just do it, but the problem starts from the second layer, and we will see how what all those problems are, and we'll understand more deeply into it. Let it dry, and then we'll work on the second layer. All right, so now you see this is dried, and now let's apply the color here in this problem area, and then we'll go for how to solutionize this, right? So now imagine that you wanted to paint the light is coming from this side. There's a darker pigments here, the darker side of this. So now imagine when you apply color here, this is a very critical stage. You take a lot of water, okay, and let's say you want to make this side as dark, and you apply the color here, okay, and you take a little more water and color, you you apply the shade here, okay, and you take some more water and you apply it here all the way, and you apply it here also. And now what happens is when you do like this, I've seen many of them, they just take a color like this, and they it's very important to understand how much water I should be using it here, but still I have a lot of water. I'll just take it here, I'll make it a very lighter pigment sort of things, and start working on this. And when you work here in this section, In this section also you apply the lighter pigment, the lighter shade of this, like this, like this, some brush strokes, something like this. And you'll take some more color, you take a water into it, because you want your idea is to have a little dark here, so you just apply here more water, more water here as well. Okay, and the shade, which is basically, if it is light coming here this side, then your definitely the shades actually going here, and you apply the shade here in this section. Okay, and you never uh, most of the time they don't realize that there's a lot of water already there. And what happens is you just take a color and apply some more water into this, because they wanted to achieve something. It's not their fault. They wanted to achieve something because they have seen in their reference image something like darker pigments and those things. And they just keep applying the color and brush strokes and everything, right? So this is how basically it works. And here also some paper fold, and you take a water again, something like this. you you see people are doing it. Okay, something like this. I'm just trying to I'm just pretending to bring that the problem areas is here. So this is how basically you see typically, and I'm sure that you are understanding what I'm just trying to bring in here, because I see people doing it, because I work with them. I know what kind of a problem they face, and they do something like this because they wanted to make um, some brush strokes on the surface level. So they something like this, they're just doing it here, and that's actually makes things a little more clutter. um, and once this will get dry, then again they will pour a little more water in third layer. So these other things are basically are happening. Now let's jump into this section, how we can control this, how we can manage this kind of a problem areas. Now imagine that you wanted to paint this side, how exactly we just did it here. The light is coming from this side, and this side will be a little darker pigment. So I've just taken, now you see how much water, my water is actually reducing in this one, the second layer, because you don't need to have a lot of water in your second layer. First layer it requires, because it absorbs, the paper itself absorbs a lot of water, right? So I will just take this as a darker pigments here. Okay, and if I want to add a little more water, right, I'll just take this color, and now you see I'm just touching the tip of the brush, a very lighter pigment, and I've just made it here like this, and I'm extra water I'm just mopping here. This is what I wanted to achieve here in this section. Okay, now whatever the color left here, I'm just mixing this two color. I'm not going to take a water here, because I wanted to have a little darker pigment here in this section. So I'll just take it here in this, and I want to have a little more darker pigment here. Now see, I don't have much water in my brush, and because of that I'm able to control it. The most important part is, if you wanted to control a watercolor, water in your painting, it's very important to uh, use the proper amount of water in your brush, and this is exactly what you see here. Now see, I'm just tipping it. I'm not completely dipping into it. I'm just my tip of the brush took some color, water, and I've taken a color here, and just wanted to make this box looks like a dimension. I've just taken this two, and I've just washed my brush. I've taken again, and like this. Okay, that's it. This section I wanted to have. Now I've just taken this color, both the color mixing ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, and I'm not taking the water at all. What I'm just doing it here is I just wanted to have some texture here in this section. So I've just made it something like this. And since the even the light is coming here in this section, but we wanted to have uh, some depth here into this, because that's underneath, so we need to have that. And I wanted to have a shade here, so I've just taken a lot of water because I need to paint a lot in this section. So I've just taken little more water, just touching the tip of that, and I'll just make the shade of this area, this section. Okay, like this. Now see, like how, I mean, I'm completely in control. Now imagine that you need to have some stroke here, some brush strokes to bring some variation. I've taken a very lighter pigment here, okay, and I've just taken a little water as well, and I wanted to have some texture here like this, but I don't want to have too much of work in this section, so it's just like some texture. Okay, now this is fine. Now let's go to work on the paper. Now I have taken the color, and now see, whatever the color was already available in my brush, I'm just using the same thing, and I'm just mixing whatever left over the color, and I'm mopping the brush. Maybe I need to have a little more, and I'm just mopping it. And I wanted to have a little more depth here in this section. Maybe I need a little more depth in this section, so just touching and very gently just a touch. Okay, I wanted to get a feel of paper, so I need some more texture here. So I've just taken a little water, and since the paper is very soft, so we wanted to bring a little lighter pigment here, and just something like this here, so you'll get some interesting texture here in this section. I wanted to have a little more the variation, including the ultra Bunsiana, so that feel. I want to have a little more depth here. So something like this. If I would have taken a lot of water here, so all the water will flow down here all the way down, and it won't look good. It won't look good. So uh, you are in completely in control. Okay. Now we wanted to have a little more lighter pigment. Now it's absolutely dried brush, absolutely dried brush. I've just taken whatever the color it was there, the water I've just mopped out here, and I wanted to make some line here, the fold of this paper, like this. And I wanted to have, now you just observe my brush. There is a no, my brush is not going more frequently into the water. It's more like a texture. Okay, I'm just adding a little interesting point here into this box, and I've just taken a little water because I need a little depth here in this section, and I've just taken a little pigment like this. Okay, and now if I want to make something like this, some texture, I'll just mop all the water here and just go something like this. Something not so much of very hard, patches here. Just a little bit of work, that's all you need. If you want, I've just taken a lot of water, and on the bottom portion I've just given a little blending here. If you want, it's just optional. I mean, it's not so required stuff. And now since this is dried, I can still make some patches here and there. Now see, there is a little water into this. I've just taken out. It is still wet, so okay. And now just wanted to have a little more shade in this section, because we wanted to have a little more darker pigment in this section that brings a very interesting flavor into the painting. Okay, so something like this. And now you see the difference, right? This is what exactly I wanted to communicate here. The if the watercolor is all about the controlling the water, this is completely gone uncontrollable way, because you have just keep pouring a lot of water, and finally you see some kind of uncontrolled situation happen. But when you have a very measured way to have a water in your brush, and how much water you are applying, that brings a lot of difference. You'll be able to bring the light shades, proper amount of edges. These high edges are so critical, so important. It's beautiful, looks so beautiful. So try that out. Okay, do something like this. Just observe how much water you wanted to have in your brush, right? So thank you so much. I would request you to check my Patreon art community and join me there and support me there, so I can create a more watercolor tutorial like this for you to improve your watercolor. And join my Patreon membership. You will see a lots of activities happening, people around the world learning from there. They are learning every single day something new. I have a lot of tutorials, and not only the tutorials but many aspects of learnings. I'm just sharing my my own journey with them, and time to time I just make them a lot of activities for them, so that really helps them to understand and learn this medium. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will be coming with a new video very soon. Till then, take care and enjoy.